I have fans. Fans, well, they're not ceiling fans, but they'll be hanging soon enough. So here's a stalker, very obviously. And here's where I've been sleeping. You can't hardly see. Okay, hold down. I have some boxes I went and got. Let me see if I can turn it. You can see. I got my sheets here. There's a tree. Let me back this up. Oh, there we go. Now we can see. Alright, so here's a tree. And so I got some boxes under my sheet because it just rained, but the rain was supposed to be done by now for the night. And I got somebody over here who wants to, probably would love if I would take my clothes off like I would if I was home. I don't have a nightgown to put on. They probably wouldn't mind that, but I would get arrested for indecent exposure. I mean, my golly. It's not like we've been looking at your ass and every single last part of you, your clit and everything you do. We've been watching you shit, but we're gonna arrest you. These fucking cops, these pedos. Well, anyway, I got a fan here. I'm gonna say it's a he. It could be a she. There's lots of women pedos, which is a little surprising to me. Maybe it's the same guy who was turning at this light when I was crossing over here last night, and he went around this street, turned up the block, came back down because he was hoping he was going to find out where I was going. But it was no secret, just so y'all know. And the cops have no authority over me. I'm outranked every last one. And they know where I've been the last 2 nights. This will be my 3rd night here ever since I got out of jail and got back to Richmond, Midlothian. Thought about, staying in a slightly different city, a couple cities over. But I want everyone to know I'm not scared, and this is not done. It's done on one level, and I've already won. My team, we already won. Woohoo! Go us, okay? But the manifestation is just knocking at the door. That's why I'm still here on the floor, right? Because when this is over, y'all are going to be in the ground, most of you. A few extra stubborn ones will be alive to be put to the ultimate shame as the whole world looks on to see and find out the depth of inhumanity and what we've been living under, with a guise of everything so lovely, like the way the Home Shopping Network talk up everything and everything with all their phony voices. They don't want you to know how those things get made, how much money is just staying within certain families, certain lineage, and how that's happening. How the people in power have that power. And I would have never known this, but I was shown. I would have thought the Mennonites, for example, that I spent 10 years among, I would have known they were some of the top Illuminati. They say they practice no violence. They don't even own guns. No, they own swords and they behead people. At least Wednesday and Sunday evenings for communion. Not the one you see that you're not invited to unless you're a member. And good thing I didn't become a member, because once you join, you get killed if you want to leave their group. These are some of the darkest people in the world. I have joined the Mormon church as a teenager, but perhaps it wasn't binding for my life because I was 14. But I was at least stolen and put into a family that is part of this group. And I have been pimped out by this group. They've been abusing me since I was weeks old, if they even gave me a week. I never had a cherry that popped vaginally. Where my mom told me she only ever slept with my dad, and she was a virgin and so pure and blah blah blah, and her cherry popped on their wedding night, which actually couldn't be true because she's been sleeping with lots of relatives, like Uncle Poe, who that was her uncle. She let rape me after I had a miscarriage when I was 15 that they caused through black magic. Then she left me at home with him. He didn't live with us, but she left me there and would have maybe made pretense to go to the grocery store. I mean, I was out of it. I was awake some. I had been awake to come home, but I was on drugs for pain after having the DNC, which had been heartbreaking to me because I wanted someone to love and someone who was going to love me. And I know it's got its own flaws there. But black magic being used to kill my babies that was only the first of, I can't tell you, 17 pregnancies in my life, 11 vaginal births. And now, I don't know how many you want to count. I'm going to count the ones that are actual births. 4 of my children have, I think I'm counting them. That sounds crazy. I just have too many kids. Okay, so anyway, police have no jurisdiction. They can't come for me. Let them try. Those motherfuckers are going to die crossing the street, or their babies and their wives or whatever they got. It's not going to be there. The house will be burned down when they go home that night. They're not going to come and say, you can't be here. Now, I am sticking close to the curb for a reason, because I'm trying to stay within public property. I'm not going over there to the store. They're part of it too. But I'm not going to go, I'm not going to go up over there on private property. I'm trying to stay close to the, I don't know if I'm within the 5 feet allowance here, but this is where I was led to go. And the rain stopped tonight, and I was let known. There was a message that came through about the greenery. This is like green, like it smells like pine needles. It's kind of low brush green here. And there was a reference to that, and I knew I was supposed to come back here. I'm showing these people I'm not scared, and I'm not the one going anywhere. I'm not going to be staying in Richmond all my life, but I'm only going to bigger and better places. I'm actually thinking I'm moving to France. It's been impressed upon me, but I might be wrong. I don't know. I hope the language comes easy for me, because I don't want to be needing a translator all the time. But I'm going to be traveling the world and setting up lots of non-oppressive ways that we're going to need to learn, because we're going to build our own houses, and they're not going to fall apart in the 30 years that we are under a handshake with death to pay for some piece of crap shit that's going to fall apart by the time you own it. And if we do need jails, we'll need a lot smaller of them, because right now they're being used instead of shelters for people who have been oppressed like myself and fallen into crime. Sometimes the crime is so small as a candy bar, and the people will spend months, especially in Virginia Beach. They will spend months in there. But you know what? They're homeless, and they're cold, and they're hungry, and if it's winter, they're happy to stay. Now, a lot of them have become hooked on meth, or at least weed, and then often sometimes people get on the harder drugs. But the shelters, all of it's a scam for many. As far as 501c3 type, it's just a way to profit off of the oppressed. And the beds and the piddling amount of things they supposedly offer, it'll talk up to a pamphlet or a book or 10 pages when it's 2 sentences. We get money, we give you a little bit, so we can't be held guilty of not doing anything with the money. What we do really is pocket 98% of it, and what we give grudgingly. We paste it on smiles and religious creed, if we give any creed at all. I'm gonna be a world leader. I already am. People just don't know who I am yet. Well, people do, but only these people who have been trying to stop me my whole life by fucking me. By fucking me. And by gaslighting me. And every feeling I ever had, or any desire for love, or a fellowship, or communion, or just the least little thing, was always painted back as if it was too much to ask. Always twisting it to make it seem like there was something wrong with me. And after probably 30 years, I started to think there must be, because I couldn't make a damn friend. I mean, I could make a friend, but I couldn't keep a friend. I didn't know why, because I thought I was a pretty great person. Not like I thought I was all that, but I am actually. and that any inferiority complex came on through the Christian religion, and the dying to self and needing to suppress one's intuition. You cannot trust yourself. You are sinful, born that way. And I believed it with all my heart because I had slept with over 100 people between the ages of 11, when my parents sent in someone to rape me from this group. He was 16, first time, and maybe the only time I skipped school. He forced me to give him head, and then he raped me. But I wouldn't necessarily even say it was a violent, like rape can be portrayed, but it was rape. Tracy hasn't raped me the way a violent rape can be portrayed in a movie, which only fucks with your mind and makes you tell yourself that it isn't rape. Because I'm not kicking, I'm not screaming, I'm laying here. I have said no, and I don't want to, but I'm not drawing blood, I'm not scratching his cheeks out, and if I did, then I would be in like fear about 10,000 times worse than the fear that's causing tears to drip down my face into the pillow. And I'm crying out to my God, who's asked me to every day die, but he only had to once, and it's all a lie. Every last bit of it is a lie to manipulate anybody who has a heart and who's been so deprived of love their whole life that they're willing to believe that one came down in human form to save mankind. And I would go so far now to say that that was made up because I was coming. And I don't want anybody to worship me, nor do I want to disempower anybody. Quite the opposite, and it will be the opposite. And I've been allowed to be tortured without chains and ropes. I've been allowed to be tortured and now to become homeless so I can be well acquainted with the people I'm going to help. And I am going to be the richest person in the world, and I am already in spirit. There might be one equal out there, and he is supposed to be mine, but I will not rule over. See, there's many truths in the Bible, and then there's so many lies. But there really only need to be a handful of lies with the rest truth in a book that would be a tool to manipulate all of humanity. But there are more than one who do that. More than one book. These people write them all. And they have spiritual knowledge, but it's only head knowledge. They were not equipped from the inside out to grow into this knowledge as they fully embraced their intuition and did not quiet it to please some person or to please some God. See Midlow and Richmond and then Virginia. Y'all can't eat Spam burgers anymore. Your judgment is here and I'm it. You knew it the whole time and you tried to suppress me. But at the last hour I have seen. Thankfully, I healed enough from trauma that the dreams and the visions were allowed to come because I was no longer under such anxiety that I had to pull over in the rain. I was afraid I was going to end up in the ditch. I had never been that way. I've always been very independent and strong, but believed in a headship, domineering men ruling over with love, but mine didn't because he wasn't a Christian, so don't expect that. So he cheated. And you know what though? He didn't just cheat. These people are cheats. They cheat in every way imaginable. They sleep with their children. They must molest their children to get them to become, hopefully, to become members. Mine and every person who could get their hands on me, which my parents were more than happy to oblige, they did it, and I never did do that, and I will not. They sent dark magic to make that sensation come upon me as I laid there, maybe like tucking in my child. And I would think to myself, what's wrong with me? I don't want to do that. I'm like, this is like a demon I fight. Or suicide. I didn't want to kill myself, and I knew I didn't. Why is that coming into my mind? And then that's the first question they ask you when you're in jail. Have you ever had any thought And here's what you have to answer correctly. Have you had the thought? Is it your thought just because it came into your mind? Or is the mind the way we access the realms, and the spirit world is opened up to you, especially if you're like me and you open portals before you even know what the fuck a portal is. See, I've been stuck in the underworld for years because I was faithful to Jesus, who is Lucifer. And the Mormon Church says that brothers who both brought God the Father, which is whatever that's, Moloch, that's their God, okay? It's all one of the self-same spirits, lower entities of evil. Child sacrifice, remember, they give us clues in their book of what they're really doing. Jack the Ripper has never existed, but they mutilated. It was easy to do. They do it all the time. I mean, they might have made it sensational. Circular movements, taking out the guts, whatever. But they do it all the time. We're going to find so many people are not in their graves. We're going to find bodies of water. We're going to be draining swamps. I don't know how big of bodies of water that can be drained, but we're going to be finding remains of so many people, and they're not going to be in their graves. We're going to find the get-up costume, at least the Mennonites wear, which is a black hooded, something like out of medieval times, very richly costumed, and the sword that is, I think it's a sword, but it could be technically something slightly different, that they behead their victim. And before Dale Miller beheaded the woman that I saw in real time, my first and only of that sort of vision that I never sought to try to do, because when the feed came about how they suggested taking, and those were Mormons, they suggested taking a pen to paper and letting the mark go a certain way, and then you were going to have this. And that just seems so stupid to me, because my natural is so much more magic. So my magic is so much more natural than that. This happened because I needed to see that, and deductive reasoning and intuition from me seeing Dale Miller say, "Shall we?" to the congregation of people I spent 10 years among. Then he brought the sword down and he beheaded her, and then the vision was over for me. And I saw them with the hoods were lined in red, so I'm assuming the whole thing was lined in red. Red is a color that the Mennonites say by and large, we don't wear red. That draws attention. That's worldly. So they have these little rules that seem kind of backwards, and it's all a joke. And the most sincere Christian who's trying to follow the Bible and finds the mainstream churches full of people who sleep around, maybe they curse, they don't seem very sincere with what the Bible's teachings are. They will go further and further into things that are more like a cult. The Mormons show up on cult websites. The Mennonites do not. These are all one and the self-same, as well as the townspeople who don't go to church. Because, see, they all sleep together. They're brothers and sisters. They're part of the Illuminati, Masons, Eastern Star. Give it any name you want. Think about mason jars. That's what they do. They feed off the adrenochrome, the fear of the wife who wants to leave her really bad marriage, and she just longs for love, and maybe to not feel scared of the person that she has to sleep in bed with, and have sex with. The fear of the children that they actually put into like Amazon vans or 18-wheel truck, box truck things, and have, release to let them run around as they all laugh at the fear, and then finally someone catches, and then that's the one they're going to sacrifice that night under the moon in ritual ceremony. And I don't claim to have it all figured out, but to see Dale Miller behead the woman was enough for me within, I don't know, within a week, to know that Ethan, my son, that I found dead, did not die from an accident, but he was murdered. We're going to be finding out lots of things. Anyway, this is where I'm sleeping. And y'all can come. This is a tractor trailer here, and I'm fine with that. Oh, there's a truck over there. Some guy came here last night around 2:30, and I started filming him, and I put it on there. But look, I've already said, anybody, I don't care if this is at Kroger or on the bus or whatever, anybody who is stalking me low-key or obvious, because I require death. And I'm not playing. So when I put sue like litigation, or the name Sue Apple Cider is my little made-up term for suicide. It's suicide if you come after me at this point. You have no fucking brain. Just so you know, it's just a shell. They're not human. I might not be either, but I'm benevolent. If I'm a witch, I'm a gray witch, but I don't fuck around with any entities that require human sacrifice or anyone to have sex in any way, shape, or form with anyone against their will. Anything that thrives in fear, hate, I don't get down with, but I don't claim to understand it all, but there are spirits who maybe even these people have been sacrificed to, who will be used to take them out in the most creative fashion. But I don't have dealings with people, with spirits that require these kind of things. They're not allowed to be around me. But I don't really care who takes out these people. If you stalk me, you are saying, take me out sooner than later. Maybe you were going to have a few more months left here to visit your grandchildren. But hey, you molest them too, so what is it? All y'all are is the outside. Remember, the outside of the platter is clean. Or the outside of the cup is clean, but what's inside? What does it say? Ravenous bones? Like, these people are telling you what they do. They are cannibals. So, I know I took the lead really late in this race. That was all planned outside of myself. My highest self knew. When y'all were doing all this shit to me for 45 years of my 47, I had no idea what the fuck was going on. And I understand that this is hard for y'all to accept. But accept it you must. And I am here to tell you, keep coming to Kroger, and maybe you think you're just eating a snack at the same time that I'm there. But let me tell you that there is no one that you're fooling. There is no one that you're fooling. When you pull your phone out and you start taking a film of yourself and get me in the background, and say you didn't and you just don't know how to do this because your granddaughter taught you, but you don't quite understand, and you're playing off being an older woman. And like I told the lady, I was nice to her. I'm not like them. I don't go into the motherfuckable, because if I had, I would have bought a machete and I would have gone into one of these buildings or churches, and I would have at least killed a whole, one whole church full of people before I was arrested and put in jail for the rest of my life. But I'm not like y'all. I said, look, man, you don't need to try to lie to me. I said, you're just hurting yourself. I don't know you. I'm from Philadelphia. So I don't care where you're from. And no, you don't know me personally. I don't know who you are, but you know who I am. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You have a devil. Well, I left and walked around. I went to Kroger. I think I used the bathroom, did something. I came back around. This was yesterday. I I came back around a different way, and I wasn't going to go where the lady was, but she happened to still be on the bench, and she was talking. I think it sounded like she was talking to a grown daughter, and she even mentioned me, and she mentioned that I said da. Why would she be mentioning me to her? I'm assuming it's not like she was talking to a daughter, but she was talking to somebody. Maybe it could have been a friend. Why would she do that unless she knew me? Who calls home about a stranger? Like, I didn't become violent with her or anything. These people are living up my ass. These people are empty. And whatever enemies I have in the spirit realm from some other life that are so sick that I won finally, because they've been defeating me for, I guess, an awful long time. And what I think is that there's not going to keep being a go around. And these people, when they die, from what I understand, and I don't care who doesn't agree with me, and I can be wrong. I only know what was impressed upon me. But all of y'all don't get to come back. Y'all are done. And it is a little bit like hell. And there's a police, but if he comes for me, they're coming for him. And I think they know. They better not fuck around with me. So I'm gonna sleep out here every night until this becomes public and I have my rightful place to at least have a bed. But I'm so famous all over the world. The Chinese, I can't even do a good impression. There's Chinese men and women. There's people all over the fucking world in every fucking country who are obsessed with my sexuality, which is my creativity. But I would like to not be a porn star, please. I think sex is wonderful, or at least it has the potential to be. Never actually had sex with anybody who loved me back, but I might have thought some of them did. But you know, I think sex is beautiful and wonderful, but not when it's being abused. And I don't think it's supposed to be a public thing. I don't personally think pornography is ever right, but maybe those are some of the old Christian things that I hold on to. I don't hold on to much. But my personal opinion is that pornography is always wrong. Sex is not a bad thing, but y'all only abuse and oppress. And sex is just a means to an end of stealing from an unsuspecting. So this MK Ultra infant grew up and taking down the whole group. Not just the Mormons, and not just the Mennonites, and not just the Baptists and the Methodists and the non-denominational and every other last church that she tried. Because she just wanted to find people who believed this book that she had been told was the Word of God. Well, y'all laugh at me. Even today, I can't tell you how many people scoff at me. See, I read energy, and I read eyes and body language really, really well. And y'all think you're better than me. I don't care if you're 400 pounds, ugly as hell. You think you're better than me. And you want to know why I'm at the store. I should be on the street with a sign begging for food. Why am I at TJ Maxx looking, at clearance clothing or makeup or something, right? Or buying a new pair of shoes is what I did. Y'all think you're better than me? All that is your delusion. That's all it is. Even like the lady who punched me when my hands were full, the one who was stalking me, the one who I think is dead. If she would be alive still, let's say she'd be boasting about how she beat Ocean's ass, right? And she's just so this and she's so that. Well, what is she really? Why is she following me around? Why do these people spend so much of their day finding out what I'm doing and passing that information on to other people? And I know that they're getting money or profiting in some way, shape, or form, but why? Why is it that I'm so valuable? if you realize I am, and you do, and y'all been coming after me my whole life, then why do you think you're better than me as I pass by you at the store or the parking lot? Why do you act like my shit stinks and yours doesn't, and as if I'm covered in shit? Like, why do you deceive yourself into thinking that you're better than me when you know goddamn well the group is not following your every move, and nobody's going to miss you when they decide next Tuesday that you're the one that's going to be sacrificed, because they really are desperate to take me out and they need something more to be done, etc., etc. You know you ain't it. Like the lady said, she is not the one. No, she's not. These are children too. Children. I can see in their eyes. Teens all the time. Younger than 10 sometimes. These children know who I am. That means that they're watching my pornography. That means that they're cannibals, pedophiles. This is what's going on, and this is what's coming down. And it's never going to be rebuilt. This Tower of Babel. This is what's up. Listen to the whole goddamn video.